Hello, LJ Young for Life. How you guys doing today? Today, this I usually don't go as deep about this kind of stuff than normal, but today I'm going to go. I'm gonna take it a little. I'm gonna take it more on a different level, okay? And tell you guys truly what becoming debt free has allowed me to see. It has allowed me to see, and when I say see, I mean how you always hear about the third eye and things of that nature. That's what I can see now. And I know you're mostly probably thinking, what do you mean third eye you can see? Well, since becoming debt free, it has allowed me to see how long I've been blind when it comes to money and debt. I mean, things are so obvious and clear to me. I wonder how come I couldn't see before. That's how powerful this is, right? And third eye means, let me give you an example. Debt free was the stepping stone for me to start looking at things that I've been just told, and I've just and realized that what I've just been accepting as just it is. That's just the way it is. Never questioned why or how. I just did it, believed it, and never could figure out why I wasn't getting ahead in financially, right? So the third eye opened once I became, and I'll make short, long story short. Uh, for example, I didn't know I was in debt. And my eyes opened up when I knew something was wrong and weird when I hit my debt to income ratio, right? I had a good salary, uh, uh, good credit, never late payments, never bad stuff or nothing, right? And then one day the bank told me no. And then they said debt to income ratio is too high. Sorry, we can't loan you any money. And I was like, oh, okay, I understand why, but then something clicked in my head was like, but you guys got me there. You guys told me if I kept my credit good, you guys would keep loaning me money as much as I want. And then one day it stopped. So something clicked and said something didn't make sense right there, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Couldn't put my finger on it. And everybody around me believed the same thing. So I couldn't ask them. I was asking people, I'm like, hey, man, doesn't this seem weird to you? They're like, nah, man, DTI, this. And they were just accepting it. And I was like, no, that ain't it. That ain't it. Anyway, once I became debt free, my eyes start to open up even more. And then I would come back and say things to people that once made sense to me. So here's when it really started opening up, right? I would say to people, you're not a homeowner when you have a mortgage. People would look at me and say, yes, I am. That's not true. This and that, and I was thinking, yes, it is true. Math says if you owe somebody money, math says you're in the negative. So that means you don't own that property, right? It's not yours. And when you refinance, people refinance, right? Now knowing, and I would look at them, I'd be like, did I used to say things like that? Or yet when people refinance their house and claim that they're going to pay off their cars and credit cards, right? They don't have, including myself, didn't have a dime in the bank, but yet if I refinance my home, I magically had the money to pay off these things. That's not true. Math says I'm in a negative. But when I looked at people and said that to them, they'd be like, oh, they would get mad at me. And I was like, okay, I'm on to something here. I'm on to something. Because math says it makes perfectly good sense with math. But when I tell people and even try to prove it with math, people still wouldn't believe it. I was like, okay, all right. And then that's when it just started. Things started rolling. What else doesn't make sense that I thought once made sense? But the debt thing, it's amazing. So it has opened up my spiritual side to really. So what happened? I was onto something, right? So I decided to start Debt Ain't My Daddy, to help people out of debt, right? And so I started coming up with things that help people, help things click like it clicked with me. Like the debt to income ratio was the clicker for me. That was the light that came on, right? So I come up with things to try to help people click. Okay, so they'll say, if people say, I need a credit card for emergencies, right? And I'll say, you've been working all of your life. How come you don't have your own money for an emergency? And people would come up with a million reasons to why they don't. Never looking back, looking at themselves and saying, wait a minute, you're right, Linnell. How come I've been working for like 30 years? How come I don't have $5,000 cash in the bank? How come? Right? Or like, for example, a student loan. People have student loans that are older than their children. Okay. Now I go like this. My message is not for everybody. I've learned that my message is not for everybody. You have to be ready to hear what I'm saying. You have to be. Or else you're never going to understand what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. Even though I can prove it with math, you still won't understand it. Now think about it this way. I see people taking vacations, trips, financing houses, financing cars, but yet they have a student loan that they've had for over 10, 20 years. That doesn't make any financial sense at all, right? The person's in the financial negative, but yet they believe they have the money to do it. So I go like this. Now, when you signed up for college to get that student loan, if the loan officer said, hey, by the way, when you pay after you're done, when you sign up for this college loan, you're going to be paying for it for the rest of your life. Or hell, for the next 20 or 30 years, 20 to 30 years, 10, 20, 30 years, whatever, right? Would you have still signed up for that student loan? Hell no, you wouldn't have. Or like this, what if you financed a car, right? And they said, by the way, the financing for this car is going to be for 30 years, 20 years. Even if the car breaks down, even if you have problems, the engine blows, you're still going to be paying on it for the next 20 years. Would you sign up for that car? The average person's going to say, hell to the no. Then why would you pay on a student loan for that long, right? Does that make any sense? It's the same thing, but student loans are the worst. But those are the eye-opening things that have helped me open my third eye to what's around me, to what is and what is not, or what's made to believe. Like, for example, I fully understand money is nothing more than a tool. It's a belief. It's only worth as much as you believe it's worth. It's crazy. Here's another one. Here's something that when you're in debt, you cannot see. Let me put this thing right here. Hold on for a second. Here's another thing that you cannot see when you're in debt, okay? Only follow the math. And these are the eye-opening third eye things that have helped me start my spiritual side of helping people that are ready to listen. Say like God, what was that? That was a good one. I'm sorry, you guys. I just thought of it. It has to do with financing. Let's go like this. You need a mortgage. Okay, if you don't have the cash to buy a home, right? 100% of the home, and you don't have cash, so you need a mortgage. So you go out and get a mortgage because you don't have all the money to buy the home. If you needed a mortgage to buy the home, what is the purpose of a second mortgage? What are you hoping to achieve that the first mortgage didn't do? But yet, you believe that money you're getting, the equity, is really yours. You really believe that. Even though you didn't hardly have any money brought to the table, you believe money just fell out the sky, and now you're a homeowner, and now if you get a second mortgage, you have money to buy this, pay off that. That's not true. Math says otherwise, right? But when I say this to people, they look at me like I'm a space alien, and it opens my third eye even more. I'm like, what else am I not seeing? It continues. Here's another example. Like, for example, Kelly Blue Book only applies to people that finance cars, not for debt-free people like myself. Third eye people, third eye. This is just what I see. It's clear as day. It only Kelly Blue Book only applies to me when I sell, never when I buy. And I'll tell you why. Follow the math. And it's so powerful what I know now. And I just want to share with the world. I really do. But I've been learning that it's only for people that are ready to listen, right? 85% of Americans are in debt. 15% of us are not. When I'm ready to buy a car, first of all, I will never go to a car lot to buy a car, ever. I have cash. I'll look in the paper, looking on the internet, whatever I'm going to look for, right? And then this person's selling this car for a reason. I have an 85% chance that this person's selling this car because they have to sell the car. They have to sell it. So whatever they're asking for, I don't really care. I don't care. If I want that car, I'll bring half the money or 3/4, not whatever they're asking for or whatever Blue Book, Kelly Blue Book says. That doesn't matter to me. Doesn't even matter to me. I'll walk up and say, I have this much. And the person in debt is going to take it. Why? Because they're in debt. I get to take that car, drive it around for a few years, and still sell it for the Kelly Blue Book value because I didn't pay Kelly Blue Book value in the beginning. It's nothing. Kelly Blue Book only applies to those who are in debt. One more eye-opening, third eye to your money. It's clear as day. Clear as day. 30-year mortgages, right? If I was a bank, you know who I would approve on mortgages? Somebody had the call. Sorry, you guys, just a second. You know who I would approve on mortgages? People with good credit and has student loans so long it's older than their children. You know why? Because if they couldn't pay off a student loan within the last 10, 20, 30 years, there is no way they're going to pay off a home. No way. Imagine a tree, a big trunk with a bunch of branches. Now a person walks in the bank and they're saying, hey bank, for the next 30 years, I promise you this X amount of payment. And what they're doing, imagine the trunk of the tree is a person's job. And all the branches are all the debt that they're attached to it. They lose their job, guess what? Everything tumbles. 30-to-1 odds? The bank is not going to, they're not going to turn that down. They're going to get paid. It's clear as day. That's it. I got an important phone call. All right, you guys have a good one. Bye.